My fellow South Africans, good evening, goeienaand, sanbonani, dumelang, riperile, dimadekwana. Earlier today, I visited the areas of KwaMashu, Springfield, Mobeni, and Umlazi in KwaZulu-Natal. These areas have been sites of unprecedented violence and destruction over the past few days.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has confessed that South Africa was poorly prepared for the uprising that gripped his country. The president, in a national address, acknowledged that the violence that rocked the country was pre-planned, describing it as an assault on democracy. In a strongly worded speech, Ramaphosa said those behind the insurrection will be brought to book.
The streets and buildings I saw bear the scars of looting and mayhem. But what is most devastating is the toll that these events of violence have taken on people's lives, on their livelihoods, and sense of security. The human toll will take much longer to repair. It is clear now that the events of the past week were nothing less than a deliberate, a coordinated, and a well-planned attack on our democracy. The constitutional order of our country is under threat. The current instability and ongoing incitement to violence constitutes a direct contravention of the Constitution of our country and the rule of law. These actions are intended to cripple the economy of our country, to cause social instability, and severely weaken or even dislodge the democratic state. Using the pretext of a political grievance, those behind these acts have sought to provoke a popular insurrection amongst our people. They have sought to exploit the social and economic conditions under which many South Africans live, conditions of poverty, of inequality and unemployment that have worsened since the onset of coronavirus pandemic, and to provoke ordinary citizens and criminal networks to engage in opportunistic acts of wanton looting.
He said the deployment of security forces working with communities will be able to restore order. Ramaphosa said the government's priorities are to stabilize the country, provide aid and relief, rebuild, and to encourage people to get involved.
Through social media, through fake news and misinformation, they have sought to inflame racial tensions and violence. Worst of all, these instigators have sought to manipulate the poor and vulnerable for their own benefit. Yet, despite the widespread destruction, this attempted insurrection has failed. It has failed to gain popular support amongst our people. It has failed because of the efforts of our security forces, and it has failed because South Africans have rejected it and have stood up in defense of our hard-won democracy.
The president also spoke about a possible state of emergency, saying government feels a state of emergency should only be used as a last resort, while adding that a decision would see the restriction of several rights of people. Riot was sparked by the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma over his failure to honor court invitation in a corruption trial while he was in office. The government said death toll has risen to 212, up by almost 100 since Thursday. Kamel Sadiq, CBA TV.